And you are hearing, work to get the Spirit, work to get the Spirit, work to get the Spirit, right? Or Galatians, Paul says, you guys, did you actually work to receive the Spirit? Or was it by the hearing of faith? See, the hearing came and built your faith. And when you have faith, it means you put your trust and belief in Jesus. Now let that sink in. Let it sink in. He is your faith. Let that sink in. Because in your spirit, by the way, you have all the faith you're ever going to need. So now we're connecting that faith into our mind realm. Because your mind will move your soul realm. Because they're really, really connected. Let me share a vision with you that the Lord gave me. You're like a living well. A well. A well is something that contains water. And that water is yours. And the source of that water is God. He is the source, and He has turned you into living waters. That's because you're joined to Him. So if you take water and you join them together, they become one. So you are living waters. You are not bitter waters. You are not waters of chaos, right? You're not salt water in the ocean that is undrinkable for us. You are living waters that are waters of life, waters of refreshment. Remember that. Remember that. So you are a well, right? Let's talk about the physical appearance of the well. The physical appearance. You might see some bricks coming out of the ground, but the well actually goes into the ground as well. You can't see the rest of it very well, but it's there. But out of the top of the ground, you see part of that well. You have to see it because you'll have a little bar or something that holds a rope, and that rope is attached to a bucket. And that bucket lowers down into the waters, and that bucket is filled with waters, and you raise that bucket up. Somebody has to be there to crank that well and raise it up. And when you raise up those waters, ooh, they're drinkable, they're nourishing for you, right? They give life. You can't live without water. Plants can't live without water. Water is life. Animals can't live without water. Water is life. Fish can't live without water. Water is life. On and on it goes. So let's start with this well. The well is your body that houses the waters, or the Spirit. The Spirit is the waters that you have been made into, not bitter waters. Remember when Moses and his crew came along bitter waters? What did he do? He took something that was wood, just like the cross is made of wood, and he cast that wood into the bitter waters, and those bitter waters became sweet. They became drinkable. They became nourishable. You and I, we have sweet waters. It's not just bland. No, it's water that tastes better than Kool-Aid. It tastes better than any other drink you've had. They're refreshing, sweet waters. Do you understand? And if you like bubbles in your refreshing drink, well, guess what? Those waters come bubbling forth out of you. So you can add some bubbles if you want. Through the cross, the finished work of Jesus Christ, your bitter waters became sweet. So now you are a well. You are a living well. Your well, the well represents your body. The waters in the well represent your spirit. And the source of the waters represents God, which is spirit. So his spirit and yours are one. Always remember, he is the source, but you carry that source in you, right? How do you steward the source of waters that you have in you? This is how you steward. So you have these waters. Now, in the well, you have a bucket that gets lowered down into the waters. That bucket is what gets filled with the waters and brings up the waters. But the bucket doesn't move on its own. The bucket moves according to the person that is cranking the bucket into the waters. The person that is cranking the bucket into the waters is your mind. The mind and the bucket, the person and the bucket are very connected, right? They're very connected. It's up to the person or the mind to move the bucket, which is your soul. Just let that sink in. Your soul receives from the Spirit as your mind moves in harmony with, let's go down into the Spirit and receive into the Spirit and believe in these waters. Trust that the waters are there. We're going to lower this bucket in and receive of the Spirit. If the mind says, you know what, I'm looking down in there and I can't see any water, so I'm not going to lower this bucket today. It's a waste of my time. Or maybe other voices say, hey, 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 as you're about to lower that bucket into the well and you turn and you look. And the voice says, listen, those waters are filthy. You don't want to partake of them and you don't want to give them to anybody else. Now that's the thief that comes to steal, kill, destroy. Because he's stealing, he's coming to steal. Did you allow him to take it from you? Did you listen to his voice? Did you listen to his voice? Did you hear? Did you hear the thief's voice? Remember, your faith comes by hearing, but your faith comes by hearing the word of Christ. That's where you get true trust and believing, in the word of Christ. Remember, faith, trust, and belief. Are you hearing the word of Christ? Or are you hearing the voice of the enemy? No matter what shape or form it takes. That voice came in whatever shape or form, but that voice is the voice of the thief. The thief is telling you those waters are dirty. They're bitter. They're contaminated. Don't drink of it and don't give it to anybody else. Now remember, without water, there's no life. Life needs the waters, right? We need water. Plants need water. Animals need water. Ocean life needs water. Water wouldn't be water without water. Now listen, that voice wants to come as a thief. Because if you listen to that voice and say, you know what? Oh, thanks for telling me I'm not going to draw from this well. You didn't keep your trust and your faith, did you? That guy actually didn't increase your faith. He decreased your faith in the trusting that those waters are sweet waters. Those waters are life waters. What happens is those waters want to come out of there. They want to be used, but the mind, the one that's cranking that bucket down into the well, the mind listened to the wrong voice. So the soul now, the bucket, cannot receive from the Spirit or the waters. Now what I want to do is let you meditate on that. Meditate on that today. I hope you had that vision with me as I spoke it. You may look like a dirty old well on the outside, and maybe some animals drop some of their stuff all over your well, like you know what flying birds do? They let something go and maybe that's all over the outside of your well, right? Well, that's why we consider that part dead, right? Because that represents the flesh. But that well is your body. That's your body. Maybe the outside looks dirty. You know, it's like Paul said, nothing good dwells in the flesh, right? Might seem all filthy and yucky. Maybe on the outside, I don't look like that I have life-giving waters in me. But wait till those living waters come out and they refresh you. And people hear those words of Christ, the words of grace, the words of love, the words of salvation, the words of comfort, the words of restoration, the words of healing, all of the things that are the promise of God, all of the truth of God, because Jesus came full of grace and truth, and his word is truth. So in his anointed word, the word of Christ, which is filled with grace and truth, enters in to those ears that are ready to hear life life-changing things happen. Life, Zoe, the Zoe life, the true life. So what station, you could even say what channel, because the channel is the station, right? What channel, what station are you tuning into? What channel are you tuning into? Because there's a whole bunch of different channels, a whole bunch of different voices that are speaking, and they're saying they're speaking truth. But the only way you can speak truth is if grace and truth are joined together as one. John said so in John chapter 1, verse 14 and 17. Jesus came full of grace and truth. The law, that was given by Moses, but grace and truth were both realized or expressed through Jesus Christ. He was full of grace and truth. So when you have Christ-filled words, they better be filled with grace and truth. No mixing, right? No mixing bitter waters and no mixing sweet waters, because that still would be poison, right? We don't want that. You want pure, sweet waters. What are you tuning into? When I say, what are you tuning into? I'm saying in Greek, what are you doing? Akoe, which is hearing in your ear. And what are you doing? Akuo. What are you letting drop into the soil of your heart, taking root and growing, right? All right, guys, I hope this message has blessed you. I'm at work just in time now. So I'll see you all in the next video. And I want you to remember something. Always, always, always. You and the Spirit of the Lord are joined together as one forever and ever and ever.